All right, Nathan Rogers here with MMA Futures. I am joined today by the one, the only Justin Weaver. How are you doing today, man?
Good, good. Just on lunch break from work right now. So making
um,
time.
Man, Justin, you know what? You fought a couple of times, but before that, you had a large break. Tell me a little bit about kind of what's going on in your life and kind of what brought you here, what brought you back to the sport.
Well, I'm actually. Oh, it's been right at 2 years now since my last fight. Even it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like a big break this time, but um, got just started a new job a few months ago. Left where I was at for probably 6, 7 years. Got another new kid, another boy, Declan Weaver. He's a year old now, so that's kind of what kept me out a little bit too. Just some, you know, getting older, so injuries, taking care of myself after my fights and stuff like that. Just kind of waiting. And then of course with life, I got kids, I got a job, I got all these other responsibilities. I do some meal prep stuff on the side. I coach at the gym now. So yeah, I was kind of waiting for Dynasty to come back to Kearney, really, or take something else close, local, maybe like a North Platte fight or something. But caught wind that they were finally coming back to town, so here we are.
Tell me a little bit about that. Dynasty hasn't been to Kearney in quite some time. I know that the Kearney gym there, Kearney Combat Sports, does helps promote a lot of shows there when they do come to town. What does it mean for you and your gym and everything in general to actually have Dynasty and have an event back in Kearney there?
I love that they're coming back to town. It sucks that they took a couple years off. It's been 2 years. My last fight is the last time they were in town, um, but could be a blessing in disguise. We've really been building a good crew in the gym. This fight, I'm actually fighting, unattached or whatever you want to call it. Um, Only because I'm still affiliated with Kearney Combat. Obviously, I'm coaching there. I'm there all the time. But Richard has really done well structuring or building a good structure for the fighters and the fight team. There's certain things that you're required to do. You're expected to do these things. And if there is going to be an exemption, there's communication is a must. It's got to be a good reason. Not, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep in today. I'm not going to come in the morning conditioning. Um, so with all that and all the stuff he's requiring, the fight team, which I think is a good thing. To build a good team, they need to be held accountable. They need to be working hard. Good atmosphere, good team atmosphere. Everyone's held to the same standard, right? And with everything I've got going on, it's just hard for me to hit all those check marks. And I sat down with Richard before I took this fight, and we agreed. I even kind of brought it up, that I just didn't feel like it'd be fair to fight under the Kearney banner. I didn't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, thinking I got special treatment because I was a coach or I've been fighting a while or whatever. So that's what kind of has me fighting, unaffiliated or whatever on this fight. But that still is my home. I'm loving seeing. We had two guys. We had, I think, an illness and an injury. Maybe we had two guys fall off, but I believe we still have. God, I think like 8 or 10 people on this card. We have a bunch of Carney fighters on this card, bunch of local talent. Um, Myself and Jose Hernandez, obviously, are the main and co-main event. Bunch of amateurs stacking our card. I think we have a couple people making their debut. Should be a really good night for the gym, hopefully. Um, Everyone's been putting in a lot of work. I don't get to make it to all those practices and stuff, like I said, but I have been up there to watch them and be around them a little bit, and I've been really impressed with the work they've been putting in. Hopefully, all that hard work pays off.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little about your fight, man. I mean, you originally were scheduled against Josh Trebian, who is a kicking specialist, and you've moved on to Nico Carbajal now. What has changed as far as you're getting prepared for these different
Um,
fighters, and what does it mean to you have that change? Kind of in the last week or so.
I haven't had to change a whole lot. I'd say I think both guys. I want to say height wise around the same. I think I have a reach advantage, height advantage with both guys. The only thing different with Nico, I almost feel a little more comfortable with having a little heavier workload, and not being able to train like I did when I was, 25, um, or even, that last fight I had, which unfortunately ended in the first round. I ate a couple leg kicks and had an injury, but I mean, I worked my ass off that camp too. Um, couldn't quite put that amount into this, which I mean, it is what it is. I took fights when I was younger, doing all sorts of stupid stuff and not hardly training at all. So I think I'm plenty ready for it. But it did kind of make me feel a little better almost knowing that we got another guy who's kind of been in the game for a while, but also has had some time off. I think it's been 8 or 10 years since Nico's fought. So he was fighting, back around or even before when I was first making my rounds in the MMA scene, back when I was still up in Lincoln in the early, I'd say when did I start? Around 2012 or so. So I think he was even fighting maybe in the late 2000s. I know my old coach, Chad Obermiller, I believe they fought quite a long time ago. So they have a little history there. So I've been able to find out a little information on him, but like I said, he's been inactive for a long time. So don't know a whole lot going in. Watched a little footage. It's I don't know, man. Just another fight. It's another day.
What have you been doing to get prepared for this fight?
Mainly just trying to get my cardio up. Making sure I'm getting. That's the worst thing is you don't want to gas out in there and lose because you got tired and you're sucking wind. So working on that cardio. I'm always trying to better my stand up a little bit. Uh, as everyone knows, it's no secret. I'm a grappler. I love grappling. I like taking you to the ground and doing my work there. But obviously, you got to be able to survive on the feet at least. So kind of working on that. Last couple of years, I have really turned it up on the grappling side of things. Doing some grappling competitions on the side, some sub spectrum. Um, Coaching has helped immensely, just in how I look at and how it's kind of broadened my skill set. There's a lot of stuff that I probably neglected and didn't train a lot. And then once I started coaching, obviously, um, I can't just show these guys, what I like to do and what I'm good at. I gotta, start from the bottom and teach them everything. So it's really made me a lot better coaching because it's made me adapt and learn a lot more than I was before.
Talk to me about that transition from being a fighter to being a coach.
Um, well, it's it's hard sometimes. Well, obviously that's why I'm fighting again. It's hard sometimes, watching, not being able to train with the fight team all the time and stuff like that, and watching them, and um, really makes me get the itch to get back in there. Uh, but I do love coaching though. It's awesome. I love seeing people enjoy the sport. I'm getting older. I don't know how many more fights I'll have. I'm sure I'll have at least one or two more. I always say I want to least fight long enough. My younger boy is old enough that he can kind of watch and understand what's going on, and he's only one now, so I suppose I got to fight at least once or twice more, as long as the body holds up and all that good stuff. But yeah, I love coaching. I love that side of it. I just love spreading the knowledge and helping people um, kind of fall in love with the sport like I did. And even though it's hard to do, it is. Kind of helping me transition completely out of competing. At some point that'll be what's going on. I'm sure I'll grapple probably longer than I'll fight, but yeah, I'm slowly making that transition. One of these days I'll probably just rock the dad bod and go full on coaching mode and coaching and dad.
So, obviously you have a fighting family. You are a grappler. Your wife has a very strong traditional martial arts background. You've got your kids in wrestling. Kind of tell me a little bit about that lifestyle, kind of that fight family type of lifestyle.
Um, so uh, one thing we were concerned about with that was I guess a benefit, a good side to it, a pro is uh, it would be hard for me to train a lot and spend that much time at the gym. I think if I didn't get to see my family all the time, because I'm busy elsewhere too, right? Work, meal prep, all that good stuff. So it's awesome that we're all involved in it and that we all love doing it because that's our family bonding time right there, right? And it's also keeping us healthy, keeping us active. Um, and then with Ronan doing it, he's gotten into wrestling. He's also been doing jujitsu now for I think going on maybe 3, going on 4 years, something like that. He's turned into quite the little competitive little guy. Loves doing it. He had his first jujitsu competition this year. It keeps us busy, really busy. This last year, I think I got Ronan a little over 50 matches in during the wrestling season. Um, we were hitting up tournaments some weekends, like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I was working night shifts overnight on some of those weekends and stuff like that too. So it gets hectic, it gets crazy. We probably are a little more physical in our playfulness than a lot of families are, I imagine. And as he's getting older, I got to kind of watch that with Ronan. He seems to do pretty good in school and stuff like that, but every now and then you kind of got to remind him that you can't just go off and try to take down one of my friends or some random adult. You can't really come up and sock him because it seems like a fun time. There's a time and a place for it, but he's learning that. And yeah, you can definitely tell we're all involved in it, and everyone enjoys it quite a bit.
All right, I got one last big question for you. Recently, one of your best friends, somebody that you spent a lot of time training with, spent a lot of time in general with, Tower Robinson, decided to retire from fighting. Tell me a little bit about kind of what that meant to you to see him actually make that full progression, and kind of like what are your feelings towards him being out of the sport?
Um, I still find it hard to believe that he's done. I feel like he's about as smart as me when it comes to that, and eventually someone will wave enough dollar bills in front of him, he might come back for one more. But who knows? I might be wrong. Maybe there's a bigger price tag on that than anyone's willing to throw at him. But um, it is bittersweet, I guess. I don't know if he's done yet, but another one that you guys are familiar with, if you followed me and Tower at all, is Cody Land. He's kind of getting to the same point, about like me. He's probably in between me and Tower. I feel like I might be fighting a little longer. Cody's kind of getting to his end as well, but he started way before me too, and he had a ton of fights. He's done some BKFC, um, but it's bittersweet. Kind of seeing your friends and the people you were involved in it with phasing out of it, but at the same time, it makes me happy, to see him. Tower has, he's diabetic. Um, if you've ever watched his fights, he's been through some wars, right? I'm sure he's taken taken his fair share of blows to the head. As we know, that can add up later in life. So it's nice to see him get out when he should, right, and not taking fights and just getting throttled. Kind of like when you see some of your favorite UFC guys, like I don't know, Cerrone. Some of his fights towards the end, I was like, man, I just love watching him fight, but I hate seeing him go out. So sometimes it's good to call it, while you're ahead. And
I
I
mean,
think
and I'm sure you've trained with a lot of guys that have, especially being in the gym all the time. You've been around those guys that have taken one, two, 10 too many fights, and you kind of know where that can lead to. Would be my
Yep,
guess.
yep, yeah. It can be very detrimental to your health. You can, and yeah, I've been around people you can almost tell just their speech and everything, or maybe just their attitude, their personality changes even a little bit after a long time of doing it. So like I said, it's good to kind of find that sweet spot of when to call it. You don't want to get out of the game too soon and feel like you had potential that you wasted. But you don't want to stay in it too long either. And I think Tower got out at a good time. He had a good career. He learned a lot, made a lot of good friends. And yeah, he got
Well, I
out
mean,
in
I
good
will
shape.
tell you the one, when he was young, the one question I asked him is, "What are your goals in the sport?" And his was he wanted to be on national television. He made it there. I mean, he got what he wanted out of the sport. He reached his goals. Um, and I think that's a good thing. I think that he was able to get to, he fought on Victory, fought on, Fight Pass and all that stuff. And I think that was really kind of where he knew that he wanted to be, and that's where he ended up at. So,
Yeah.
um, man, I guess that's all I got for you. I mean, be sure to check out Justin Weaver Saturday night on MMAFeatures.live. See what he does about against Nico Carbajal, along with all the other guys from Card and Combat Sports.